Good morning. Today we will take up a numerical on the analysis of trusses. We will solve one problem and we will take up further problems in the next session. The question which I will just put in front of the camera, since if I write it on the board I will not be left with sufficient space to start the solution. So I will read out the question. Okay. So this is the question. This is a truss element comprising of 4 elements, and the area, cross sectional area, is given as 100 millimeter square. The value of E is given as 2 into 10 to the power of 5 MPa or Newton per millimeter square. The displacement needs to be found, as well as we need to find the reaction at the supports. The very first thing that we'll do is, my suggestion is you first write down this diagram in your notebook, because we will be referring to this diagram in the solution stages, but maybe even the board will not have sufficient space to retain the diagram for obtaining the solution. So I'll write the finite element model for this. The very first step. The first step is to write the finite element model. Whatever truss element is there, we'll write it as it is, and we'll also mark the nodes as well as the values of displacements. Now, this is one node. Let me call this as the first node itself. This will be the second node. There is one more element. This is the third node, and this will be the fourth node. Numbering, I will start from the origin denoted in the given numerical problem. So it says this is the origin. So I will start the numbering from this particular node. So I will call this as node 1. This will be node 2, node 3, and then node 4. Elements from 1 to 2, I will name it as element 1. From 2 to 3, I will call this as element 2. From 3 to 1, from node 3 to node 1, I will call this to be the element 3, and this is element 4. From node 3 to node 4. Now, I have created the finite element model with nodes as well as elements. Now I try to define the forces and displacements at each node. So I'll use a different color chalk for this. I hope this will be visible. As we had discussed in yesterday's class, the displacement and force along x direction will take the value 2j minus 1, where j is the node number, and the displacement and force along the y direction will take the value 2j, where j is the node number. So if I consider node 1, at node 1, the value of displacement as well as force, probably the pink color chalk is not that visible, I will change it to white chalk itself. Okay. So this is at node 1, along the x direction 2j minus 1 where j is equal to 1. So 2 into 1 minus 1. So displacement along x direction is given by q1. Force along x direction is given by F1. Now along y direction it is q2 and F2. And finally, and next going to the second node, the displacement along x direction is given by 2j minus 1, j takes the value 2. So 2 into 2 minus 1 is q3 and F3. And along y direction it is q4, F4. And at node 3, 2j minus 1 along x direction, 2 into 3, 6 minus 1 is 5, q5, F5, q6, F6 along y direction. Finally, at fourth node, displacement along x direction is given by 2 into 4 minus 1, q7 and F7, q7, F7, q8 and F8 along y direction. So these are the different displacements. But going with the given external forces, there is a force of, if I see the question, it is 20,000 Newton along x direction at node 2. So there is a force acting at this location. F3 is equal to 20,000 Newton. And there is also one more force at node 3. At node 3, in the downward direction, there is a force of 25,000 Newton acting. Now, the conventional y direction is upwards, so the force acting downwards will be taken with a negative sign. So it is Q6 will take, F6 will take the value as minus 25,000 Newton. So there is a force acting here, as well as there is a force acting at node 2 along x direction. So all the details from the numerical has been taken apart from the distances between the two different nodes. So node 1 to node 4, the length is 30 mm. Suppose I cross check the question once. Yes, it is 30 mm. So this is 30, and from node 1 to node 2, the value is 40 mm. So this completes all the required details in the finite element model. Now going further, with this we need to formulate the element stiffness matrices. But before we do that, we require the values of directional cosines L and M, as we have discussed in the previous class. So we need to first tabulate the values of L and M and then calculate the elemental stiffness matrices. So in order to do that, I'll first put a table. Please do this for the entire truss problems. A table consisting of element number. This is element number. Use white chalk. The first column is element number. The next column, I'll put it as initial node. And for this initial node, the node number, its x coordinate and its y coordinate. Next, final node its node number, its x coordinate, and finally its y coordinate. So now I have values of initial node, final node. The next thing that I need to calculate is length of element. Length of element, and it is given by small l suffix e. So once the column for length of element is completed, we'll put up the column for L, small l and small m. Now, how many elements are there? There are 4 elements. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I will make 4 rows. This is for element 1. This is for element 2. This is for element 3. And finally, the last row is for element 4. This is element 1. So if you look at element 1, the initial node is node 1. So node number is, initial node number is 1. Its x coordinate, since it is the origin, its x coordinate is 0. Next, its y coordinate is also 0. Next, the final node for element 1 is 2. So for node 2, what are the coordinates along x direction? It is 40, node 2, 40, and node 2 y coordinate is 0. What is the length of the element? As I had told you in the previous class, the length of the element is given by the formula using the Pythagoras theorem, root of x final minus x initial, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, where y2 is the final node value of y and y1 is the initial node coordinate value of in the y direction under the roots. So x2 is 40 minus 0, 40 square minus, 40 square plus y2 minus y1 is 0 minus 0, 0. So 40 square under roots will give you 40. So length of the element is 40. What is the value of L? L is given by x2 minus x1 divided by LE. So what is x2? 40 and x1 is 0. So 40 minus 0 is 40 divided by length of the element 40. So it will give you a value of 1. Next, M value is given by y final minus y initial divided by LE. Y final is y2, y initial is y1 divided by the length of the element. So y2 minus y1 divided by the length of the element 40. 0 minus 0 divided by 40 will give you 0. Now let me use a different colored chalk. I don't know if it is seen. I'll use an orange chalk and check if it is differentiable from the white color in the video. No. So we'll stick to white chalk. The other color chalks are also giving the same color. So going with this, we'll calculate now for the second element. So for element 2, which is the element 2? The element from 2 to 3, the vertical element that we have. Initial node number 2 and final node number 3. So initial node x coordinate value is 40 and y coordinate value is 0. For final node 3, x coordinate value is 40, y coordinate value is 30. So it is at 30 mm height. So 30. Now length of the element x2 minus x1 the whole square. So 40 minus 40 whole square plus 30 minus 0 whole square. So you will end up with a value 30 square using the Pythagoras theorem. 30 square under the roots will give you a value of 30 for length of the element. So what is the value of L? x2 minus x1 divided by LE. x2 value is 40 minus x1 is again 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. 0 divided by 30 will be 0. Y value is 30. 30 minus 0 divided by 30 will give you 1. So 1, 0, 0 and 1 is the value for first and second element. Now considering the third element. Element number 3. What is the initial node for element 3? As I told you, element 1 is from 1 to 2, element 2 is from 2 to 3, 3 to 1 is element 3. So initial node value is 3 and coordinate of third node is 40 on x and 30 on y. Final node is 1 and its coordinate is 0 and 0. Now length of the element x2 minus x1 0 minus 40 whole square. So it will be 40 square 160 you can take it. 0 minus 30 whole square is y2 minus y1 whole square. So 30 square. So x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square is 30 square plus 40 square under roots. You will get the length of the element as 50. Now value of L. L is x2 minus x1 or x final minus x initial divided by length of the element. X final value is 0, x initial value is 40, 0 minus 40 divided by 50. So minus 40 divided by 50 will give you minus 0.8. Now for M, the value is y final minus y initial divided by length of the element. So y final value is 0, y initial value is 30, 0 minus 30 divided by 50 will give minus 0.6. Next, going to the fourth element. Fourth element is from node 3 to node 4. So what is the initial node? The initial node is 3. Its coordinate is 40 along x direction and 30 along y direction. Node 4 is the final node and its coordinate value 30 along y direction. So this is 0 and this is 30. Length of the element, again x final minus x initial. X final is 0 minus x initial is 40. 0 minus 40 whole square, which could be treated as 40 square, and then y final minus y initial, 30 minus 30 whole square is 0 square. So 40 square and the roots will be again 40. Length of both fourth element and first element is same. L value is obtained by x final minus x initial divided by length of the element. X final is 0, x initial is 40. So 0 minus 40 divided by 40 will give the value of L as minus 1. 30 minus 30, y final minus y initial is 30 minus 30, which is 0, divided by length of the element is LE, which is equal to 40. So 30 minus 30 is 0, hence M value will be 0. So this completes the required data for calculation of elemental stiffness matrices. The data is with respect to the directional cosines. I hope the values are visible along with all the notations of the finite element model, or I'll take the camera and provide you a visual from the close range, so that if you have any clarifications in writing the table or the diagram, please make sure you do it properly, so that in future we will be referring to this table as well as the diagram. You need to refer it from the notes that you are taking right now. Okay. Fine. Now, with this data, we'll proceed to calculate the elemental stiffness matrices. Elemental stiffness matrices, we calculate it by the formula small k suffix e is equal to AE capital E suffix E divided by small l suffix e. There is a small correction that I have put up in the classroom, Google Classroom. In the notation or the element definitions that we have taken, the second row last element is actually m square, not l square. So I'll write the proper stiffness, elemental stiffness matrix notation now. First I will write the diagonal elements L square, M square, L square, M square. So this completes the diagonal elements. Next, as I told you before, the first row second element is product of both the directional cosines Lm. After that, we need to write the negative of the first two terms, minus L square minus Lm. Now, this term is again minus Lm, or we can complete the first column, but we'll stick to whatever we had spoken in the previous class. So this is minus Lm, and this term is minus M square. This is the term that needs to be corrected from the previous class. So this is minus M square to make the correction. And once upper half of the matrix. Now we will write, since the stiffness matrix is symmetric, we will write or fill the elements for the lower half. I will convert the first row into first column, L square Lm minus L square minus Lm. Next, second row as the second column, Lm m square minus Lm minus m square, and third row as the third column, this is Lm. So this is the proper element stiffness matrix, where L and M value you take it from the table that we have just formulated. For element 1, we proceed. For element 1, K1, small k, suffix 1 is given by, what is the area value for element 1? It is the same for all the elements. Area is given as 100 millimeter square. I'll just cross check with the question once. Yes, 100 millimeter square. So 100 into E value is 200 GPa or 2 into 10 to the power of 5 millimeter square, 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by length of the element 1. Length of element 1 I can obtain from the table. It is 40. 40 multiplied by the matrix. So what is the value of L1? 1 square is 1. M value for element 1, it is 0. So Lm will be 0. L square is again 1. Minus L square is minus 1. Minus Lm is 0. I am referring to L and M values for element number 1 from the table that we have created. I am not looking at L and M value for the other rows. Row but related to element 1, I am considering L value is 1, M value is 0. Now Lm value is again 0, M value is 0, so 0 square will be 0, minus Lm is 0, minus M square is 0, minus L square minus 1, so L value is 1, 1 square is 1, minus L square is minus 1, minus Lm, so minus Lm is again 0. Next, minus Lm is 0, L square is 1, Lm is 0, M square is 0, Lm is 0, M square is 0. This completes the matrix for the no element 1. So what is 100 into 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 40? The value will be 2.5 into 2, 5. So 5 into 10 power 5. As we have been doing it before, we will keep 10 to the power of 5 common. So this will become 10 to the power of 5 K1 with, I will multiply 5 inside the matrix. So it is 5, 0, minus 5, 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0, minus 5, 0, 5, 0, 0. So this completes the stiffness matrix for element 1. So we will proceed to calculate for element 2. So I will not be writing for element 2 and stuff in order to save spaces. So I will directly write it as K2, K2, and K2 is equal to 100 into 2 into 10 to the power of 5 remains as it is. I will only write the change in length value. Length is for second element it is 30. So 100 into 2 divided by 30 will be 6.66 into 10 to the power of 5. Remember, this is only to save spaces. I could have written one extra step, but I need these elemental stiffness matrices further to create the global stiffness matrix. I cannot run out of space in order to calculate the global stiffness matrix. So I am directly putting it as 6.66 into 10 to the power of 5. I hope by now you will be able to know how to calculate AE by LE. Multiplied by L square for second element. L value is 0, M value is 1 for second element. So L square is 0. Lm is, check if it is legible whatever I am writing. Write it a little bigger. This is 0. M square, Lm is 0. Minus L square is 0. And minus Lm is 0. Lm takes value of 0. M square takes the value of 1. Minus Lm is 0. Minus M square is minus 1. Again, minus L square is 0. Minus Lm is 0, L square is 0, Lm is 0. This is again minus Lm 0, minus M square is minus 1, Lm is 0, and then M square is 1. Multiplying 6.66 inside will give me K2 as 10 to the power of 5. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6.66, 0, minus 6.66, 4 zeros, followed by 0, minus 6.66, 0 and 6.66. Now, we will note the degrees of freedom as well. So as I told you, for mode 1, this is along x direction, this is along y direction, 1 and 2, 2j minus 1 and 2j, whatever we use to denote q4, q5, q1, f1, q2, f2, q5, q6, all those stuff. So the same concept, 2j minus 1, 1, 2. This is 3 and 4 pertaining to mode 2. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next, for this, the two nodes are 2 and 3. So for 2, degrees of freedoms are 3 and 4 numbering. So this is 3, 4. For third node, it is 5 and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, we'll calculate for element 3, K3. A into E by L. A into D remains same, 100 into 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by L value for length of element 3 is 50. So 100 into 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 50 will give 2 into 2, 4 into 10 to the power of 5. So I will keep 4 into 10 to the power of 5 and formulate the matrix. So what is L value for element 3 minus 0.8, M value for element 3 is minus 0.6. So L square is 0.84, which is equal to 0.64. For Lm value it is minus 0.8 into minus 0.6, which is 0.48. Next, minus L square minus 0.64 square, 64, and Lm is minus 0.48. For Lm 0.48, m square is minus 0.48, minus Lm is m square is 0.36, minus 0.6 into minus 0.6, it is 0.36. Minus Lm is minus 0.48, minus m square is minus 0.36, minus L square minus 0.64, minus Lm is minus 0.48, L square is again 0.64, Lm is 0.48. Minus Lm minus 0.48, minus m square minus 0.36, Lm is again 0.48 and m square is 0.36. So when you multiply 4 inside and retain 10 to the power of 5, I write the values directly. Keeping 10 to the power of 5 outside, this should be the matrix that you obtain. 2.56, 1.92, minus 2.56, minus 1.92, 1.92, 1.44, minus 1.92 and minus 1.44. Minus 2.56, minus 1.92, 2.56 and then 1.92, minus 1.92, minus 1.44, 1.92 and 1.44. Now marking the degrees of freedom for the obtained matrix. Initial node is for K3, it is node number 3, final node is node number 1. For node number 3, degrees of freedom are taking the numbers 5 and 6. So this is 5, this is 6. For node 1 it is 1 and 2. So 5, 6, 1, 2. I hope 1, 2, 5, 6 on the row are visible. Yeah, it is there. Now we'll calculate the elementary swiftness matrix for element 4. K4 is equal to 100 into 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 40 will again give me 5 into 10 to the power of 5. So 5 into 10 to the power of 5. Now the matrix L value is -1, M value is 0. So L square for element 4 is -1 square 1. Lm is 0. Minus L square is -1. So L square is -1 whole square, which is 1, multiplied by minus is again -1. Then minus Lm is 0. The same matrix as element 1 gets repeated. Lm is 0, M square is 0, minus Lm is 0, minus M square is 0. Minus L square is -1, minus Lm is 0, L square is 1, Lm is 0, minus Lm 0, M square minus N square is 0, Lm is 0, M square is 0. This is same as matrix for element 1. So multiplying 5 inside will give the value as 10 to the power of 5. Write the matrix. Multiplying 5 inside, 5, 0, minus 5, 0, 0, 0, and minus 1, 0, so minus 5, 0, 1 into 5 is 5, 0, the last row is entirely 0. So this provides you the values. Now marking the degrees of freedom. The initial node is 3, its values along x direction is 5 and along y direction is 6. So this is 5, 6, 7 and 8 are for fourth node. So 5, 6, 7 and 8. So why do we need to mark these degrees of freedom? We need to do this because while creating the global stiffness matrix, addition of terms will be much more simpler when you have marked the degrees of freedom. So this completes the elemental stiffness matrices. I'll take the camera closer to the board so that if you have missed anything, you can make all the corrections. Okay. So this is for element 1. Coming to the element 2. Okay. Element 2, element 3. If you have made any mistakes or if you have not been able to see properly, then this is the time to correct it in your notes so that going further we can use the values. So this is for element 4. Fine. Fine. Now I will erase this portion of the board so that the global stiffness matrix can be formulated. So what is global stiffness matrix? It is the summation of all the individual elementary matrices. So global stiffness matrix is given by capital K is equal to K suffix 1 plus K suffix 2 plus K suffix 3 plus K suffix 4. Now if you observe, there are totally 8 degrees of freedom for the given problem. 2 degrees of freedom per node. So there are 4 nodes into 2, 8 degrees of freedom. So our global stiffness matrix is now a matrix of 8 cross 8. So please make sure that you have sufficient space in your nodes. K is equal to So what I'll do is, I'll initially mark the different degrees of freedom as the column number and the row number, so that addition will be much more simpler. So this is column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and last column 8. Row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I have marked the row number and the column number. Now the first row, first column element. If I see K1, there is an element at column 1, row 1, which is 5. So are there any other elemental matrices which has a value for row 1 and column 1? If I come to element stiffness matrix 2, there is no row 1 or column 1 present, so I will omit this. Coming to element stiffness matrix 3, there is a value for column 1 and row 1, which is 2.56. I hope it is visible. Yeah, 2.56. So the value that you obtain, 5 plus 2.56, 1 and 1. So it will be equal to 7.56. You can make one more step wherein you will denote what are being added separately and then create the global stiffness matrix. But since we don't have much space on the board, I directly write the values. 5 plus 2.56 will give me 7.56 as the value for row 1 column 1 element. Now coming to column 2 row 1. Column 2 row 1 is 0 here. Similarly, column 2 row 1 is minus 1.92. So 1.92 is the value for the second term in the first row. Next, column 3 row 1. Column 3 row 1 is what I need. Column 3 row 1 is minus 5. Is there any other term? Column 3 row 1, there is no other term, so it is minus 5. Column 4 row 1 is 0. There is no other term pertaining to column 4 row 1, so it is 0 only. Column 5 row 1, there is no term here, but here column 5 row 1 is minus 2.56. This is minus 2.56. Column 6 row 1. Column 6 row 1 is minus 1.92, minus 1.92. 7, row 1 there is no element, so it will be 0. Column 8, row 1 is again 0. Now row 1 elements are obtained. Now further going to second row. Column 1, second row. Column 1, second row 0. Similarly, column 1, second row is 1.92. So 1.92, 0 plus 1.92 will give me 1.92 as the value for second row, column 1 element. Now second column, second row. Second column, second row is 0. Here second column, second row is 1.44. 0 plus 1.44 will give me 1.44. Now third column, second row is 0. Any other term pertaining to third column, second row? There is no other term, so it is 0. Fourth column, second row element is 0. There is no other term relating to fourth column and second row, so it is 0 again. Now fifth column, second row. We have a value here. Fifth column, second row, it is minus 1.92. So the same value will be written minus 1.92. Similarly, sixth column, second row, minus 1.44. Minus 1.44. There is no other term. Fifth column, second row. Now seventh column, second row. Seventh column, second row, there is no element, so we will take it to be 0. Eighth column, second row is again 0. So second row elements are now completed. Going to third row. First column, third row. First column, third row is minus 5. Is there any other term pertaining to first column, third row? There is no other term, so minus 5. Next, second column, third row. Second column, third row is 0. There is no other matrix which contains with respect to the degrees of freedom second column and third row, so it is 0. Fine. Next, third column, third row. Third column, third row is 5. There is one more matrix. Third column, third row. It is 0. So 5 plus 0 will give us a value 5. Next, fourth column, third row is 0. Fourth column, third row is 0. So 0 plus 0, 0. Fifth column, third row. Is there any term related to fifth column, third row? Yeah. Fifth column, third row is 0. So we'll write 0 directly. Next, sixth column, third row is again 0. Seventh column, third row, there is no element, 0. Eighth column, third row is also 0. So this completes the third row. Going to the fourth row. First column, fourth row is 0. No other term relates to first column and fourth row. So value is 0. Next, row with degrees of freedom 2, numbering 2, and column 4. Sorry, column 2 and row 4. 2, 4 is 0. No other term. So it is again 0. Next, the value pertaining to third degree of freedom and fourth row is 0. There is a term here, but it is also 0. So third column, fourth row, 0 and 0. So it will be 0. Next, fourth column, fourth row is 0 here, but here it is 6.66. So I'll obtain a value as 6.66. Next, fifth degrees of freedom column. So and fourth degree of freedom row. 5, 4 is 0 here. There is no other term present, so it is again 0. Sixth no other term, so this is minus 6.66. 7th row, 7th column, 4th row is 0. There is no term present. Similarly, 7th column, 4th row is 8th column, 4th row is 0. This completes the 4th row. Coming to the 5th row. First column, 5th row, there is a term here minus 2.56. No other term present, so it is minus 2.56, which I write directly. Next, degree of freedom on the second column and fifth degree of freedom row. Second column, fifth degree of freedom is minus 1.92. Minus 1.92. And third degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row. Is there any term here? Third degree of freedom column, fifth degree of freedom row, but the value is 0. So directly write it as 0. Fourth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row. It is fourth degree of column and fifth degree of freedom, it is 0. So directly 0 will be written. Next, fifth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row. Fifth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row is 0. Fifth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row is 2.56. 0 plus 2.56 is 2.56. Is there any other term that we have missed? Yeah, there is one more term. Fifth degree of freedom column, fifth degree of freedom row is 0 here. Fifth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row is 2.56 here. Again there is one more term, fifth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row. 5 plus 2.56 plus 0. So it is 7.56. 7.56. Next, sixth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row. Sixth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row is 0. Similarly, sixth degree of freedom column is 1.44 and 1.92 along the fifth degree of freedom row. So 0 plus 1.92 plus 0 is 1.92. Next, seventh degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row is minus 5 and eighth degree of freedom column and fifth degree of freedom row is 0. Next, I'll take it a bit further or below. This is 6, 7 and this will be 8, so that there will be sufficient space to write all the elements. Okay. The sixth row. How do we frame the sixth row? We need to find the value pertaining to first degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom row. So first degree of freedom column here is the sixth degree of freedom row. We have match here. First degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom row minus 1.92. So this is minus 1.92. Next, second degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom row. Second degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom row is minus 1.44. So minus 1.44. Next, you need to obtain the value of third degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom row. Third degree of freedom column, sixth degree of freedom row. Yeah, you have an element here. Third degree of freedom column, sixth degree of freedom row, but the value is 0. Put it as 0. Next, fourth degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom row. Fourth degree of freedom column and sixth degree of freedom 6.66. degree of freedom column and 6th degree of freedom row. 5th degree of freedom column, 6th degree of freedom row is 0. We have also for element 3, 5th degree of freedom column and 6th degree of freedom row is 1.92, and also here 5th degree of freedom column and 6th degree of freedom row is 0. So 0 plus 1.92 plus 0 is 1.92. Now both the column and the row pertaining to 6th degree of freedom, 6.66 plus 1.44 plus 0. What is the value that we get? 6.66 plus 1.44 will be 8.1 that I have obtained. This will be 8.1. Next, 7th degree of freedom column and 6th degree of freedom row. So we have 7th degree of freedom column and 6th degree of freedom row, but value is 0. So 0 will be written. Similarly, 8th degree of freedom column and 6th degree of freedom row is 0. Next, the 7th row. How do we fill this? 7th degree of freedom row, wherever they are. For example, we have values only in this matrix column. So in this matrix, 5 and 6 has some values. Apart from that, all other remaining terms will be 0. Because where any matrix will be 7th and 8th column row iruntadu. So 5, 6 and bittu bere ella equal anna. I'll put the values as 0. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But 5th again there is could be a value. So this is 5th column, 7th row is -5. So -5. 6th column, 5th row, 7th row is 0. 7th column, 7th row is 5. 8 is 0. So similarly, last row is entirely 0. Yakandre values pertaining to 5 and 6 is also 0, as well as 7 and 8. So this completes the global stiffness matrix. How do you verify if it is correct or not? Leaving apart the diagonal matrix 7.56, 1.44, this is the diagonal matrix, 4, 4 here, 5, 5 here, 8.15 and 0. Bitto original elements it should be symmetric. So 1.92, 1.92, -5, -5, 0, 0, 0 and 0, 0, 0, -2.56, -2.56 is -1.92, -1.92, 0. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ 0, -1.92, -1.92 ಇದೆ. 0, -1.44, 0 ಇದೆ. 0, -1.44, 0 ಇದೆ. Next, -6.66, 0, 0 ಇದೆ. -6.66, 0, 0 ಇದೆ. 1.92, 0, 0, 1.92, 0, 0, -5, 0, -5, 0, 0 and 0, 0 and 0 ಇದೆ. 0, 0, 0, 0, ಸರಿ ಇದೆ. So this is the global stiffness matrix. So with this global stiffness matrix, we need to now obtain the value of displacements. So erase all the elemental stiffness matrices that are there. So equilibrium condition is given by, I'll write it on this side, K into Q is equal to F. Now what is the value of Q? Global displacement vector Q6, Q7 and Q8. I'll put it as transpose. Now similarly, global load vector is given by F equals F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7 and F8. But if you had observed in the problem, we have the values of F on node 2 as well as node 3. There are forces acting. So what are these forces that are acting at node 2 and node 3? 20,000 kilonewtons at node 2 along x direction. So x direction F3 value is 20,000 kilonewton. There are force 0, 0. This is 20 kilonewton. F4 along y direction 0. F5 has 25,000 kilonewtons acting downwards. So minus 25 kilonewton for F5. F6, F7, F8 is 0. So this is the value for global force vector. Now for this, with these values, we need to substitute into K into Q equals F. So K into Q equals F and direct again global stiffness matrix available is there. Alligane substitute ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. Retaining the global stiffness matrix. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, but you need to write it again. So this global stiffness matrix we have forgotten to multiply 10 to the power of 5. So ಬಿಡಬೇಡಿ, 10 to the power of 5 we have multiplied. So K into, this is K multiplied by Q should be equal to F. So what is the value of Q now? Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7 and then Q8, which is equal to F values. Earlier is 0, 0, 20,000, 0, 25,000, 0, 0, 0. Now we will apply the boundary condition. What are the boundary conditions that we know? From the diagram, if you observe node 1 and node 4, I'll check. So if you observe node 1 and node 4, they are fixed. So degrees of freedom pertaining to node 1 and node 4, which are Q1, Q2 and Q7 and Q8 are 0. Boundary conditions are Q1 equals Q2 equals 0. Node 1 is fixed. Similarly, Q7 equals Q8 equals 0 because node 4 is fixed. And also there is a small displacement for node 2. Node 2 is a roller support. Displacement along x-axis is permitted but not the displacement along y-axis. So displacement along x direction, the Q value is for the second node 3. So on the fourth Q4, which relates to displacement of node 2 along y direction, is fixed. Hence Q4 will be equal to 0. Q4 is 0 because node 2 has roller support. corresponding to these values. So Q1 is 0. We will eliminate the row pertaining to Q1 and also the first column. Next Q2 is 0, eliminating the row next to Q2 or pertaining to Q2 and the second column in the stiffness matrix, and Q7 and Q8 we will eliminate the row corresponding to Q7 as well as Q8 as well as the 7th column and 7th row in the global stiffness matrix in the equilibrium equation. Q4 is also 0. So Q4, if I eliminate, the row corresponding to Q4 is eliminated and also the 4th column is eliminated. The remaining terms will be now used to calculate the displacements. So what are the remaining terms? 10 to the power of 5 matrix. If you observe 1, 2 and 3, there are only 3 rows and 3 columns that remain. What are the elements remaining in this? 5, 0, 0, 5, 0, 0, 0, 7.56, 1.92, 0, 7.56, 1.92, 0, 1.92 and 8.1, 0, 1.92 and 8.1. So these are the values remaining. Q values remaining are Q3, Q5 and Q6. Q3, Q5, Q6 is equal to F value remaining are 20,000, 0, so 25,000 and 0. Now solving this equation, if you are using a calculator, put it into matrix mode and do the calculate the unknown, or you can also formulate the equations with 3 unknowns and then obtain the values. So from the calculator, the values obtained for these are Q3 equals Q3 is equal to 0.04 mm, Q5 is 0.00834 mm, Q6 is equal to 0.03284 mm with a negative sign. So these are the displacement values for Q3, Q5 and Q6. With this I can write the displacement vector, the global displacement vector as Q equals 0, 0. The third displacement is 0.04. Fourth is 0. Fifth is 0.00834. Since I am running out of space, I will put it in the column form itself. Instead of writing transpose, so 0, 0, 0.04. Q4 is 0, Q5 is 0.00834, Q6 minus 0.03284, Q7 and Q8 is 0 and 0. So this is the global displacement vector that we obtain from the given problem. Once we know the displacement value, we can calculate the stress value. So stress is obtained by the equation sigma equals, we have taken this yesterday, sigma equals EE, sigma E where small e suffix denotes the element number, minus L, L, M multiplied by Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So this Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 relates to the displacements of the two nodes of that particular element. So this should be essentially j 2j minus 1, 2j plus 1 minus 1, 2j plus 1. That's it. So we will calculate it for a better idea. For stress for element 1, sigma 1, E value is 2 into 10 to the power of 5. The value for length is 40, and that's why I remember I cross checked once. Yeah, it is 40. So 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 40. L value for element 1 is 1, so minus 1. M value is 0. Now Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 holds true for element 1. Node 1 has displacements 1 and 2. So Q1, Q2 is for node 1, Q3 and Q4 is for node 2. So directly I will write the values for Q1, Q2, 0, 0, 0.04 and 0. So I will obtain the stress value as 200 Newton per millimeter square. Okay. Now sigma 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by length of element 2 is 30. L value for element 2 is 0. M value from the table that we had. M value is 1. So this is minus 1, 0, 1 multiplied by, now pay attention, element 2 has nodes 2 and 3. For the node 2 displacements are Q3 and Q4. For node 3 displacements are Q5 and Q6. Now I need to write Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6. Q3 is 0.04, Q5 is 0, sorry, Q4 is 0, Q5 is 0.00834, Q6 is minus 0.03284. So the stress value that we obtain is minus 218.93 Newton per millimeter square. If you are so confused, I can write here. These are Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. This is Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6. Now for stress at element 3, sigma 3 is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by length is 50 multiplied by L value 0.8, M value 0.6, minus 0.6, minus into minus plus. So this is minus 0.8 into minus 0.6 multiplied by, for element 3 the initial node is 3, displacement for that is Q5 and Q6. So if I write this Q5, Q6, Q1, Q2. So what is the value of Q5? 1, 2, 3, 4 minus 0.00834. Q6 is minus 0.03284. 0 and 0. Q1 and Q2 is 0. We will obtain the stress value as minus 52.12 minus 52.12 Newton per millimeter square. Now finally, for element 4, I will write it here itself. For element 4, E value remains the same. L value is 40. So 2 into So minus into minus plus 1. This is 0. This is minus 1. This is 0. Q4, the nodes are 3 and 4. For third node, the displacements are Q5 and Q6. For fourth node, displacements are Q7 and Q8. So it is 0.0834. 0.0834. Q6 is minus 0.03284. 0 and 0. So this is equal to the stress value minus 41.7 Newton per millimeter square. So I'll place the solution that I have created. If you have any doubts, you can just verify with the values. Okay. Now we'll proceed to the solution for reaction at the support. So if I erase this, reaction at support is given by the formula, the same formula that we have employed for calculating the support reactions for bars. So it is given by R is equal to K global stiffness matrix multiplied by Q minus F. So I'll use the same matrix that is existing here, but without the cancellation of rows and columns. So direct you need to write the global stiffness matrix, 8 cross 8 matrix, Q matrix, F matrix again. Instead of equals, it is KQ minus F. So minus F. Now I know the values of Q. I can substitute the Q values here. So the value of Q's are retain all the elements in the global stiffness matrix. Don't cancel any. This was only when we applied the elimination method that we have cancelled. We need to write the entire global stiffness matrix again. So Q values are that we have obtained, that would be 0, 0, 0.04, 0, 0.00834, minus 0.03284, zero and 0. So when you do this, simplify this, you will obtain the R value as minus 15829.76, 3127.68, 0, 21871.44, 0, 0, minus 4170, 0, 0. How do we obtain this? How do we multiply and all? We can refer to the problems from the analysis of bars. The very first problem I have explained how to do the matrix multiplication to obtain the reaction force values. So make sure that you go through that particular video if you are not understood. So these are the values of R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7 and R8. This is in terms of Newton. So this completes the solution for analysis of trusses, the very first problem that we have taken. So if you have any doubt, you can again go through the video, and I would suggest, it's not suggestion, you need to work along with seeing the video. Looking the video as a movie will not help you in understanding the problems. You need to do all the steps on your own by understanding or to listening from the video instead of just looking at the video. Notes for these and all will not be provided. You need to create your own notes by looking at the video and writing the steps, all the steps in the given video. Okay, we'll continue the next class with one more problem. Probably we'll solve maximum of 3 or 4 problems from trusses, and we'll proceed to the next section. Okay, thank you.